At your desktop computer, you're going to TinkerCAD.com and you'll log in using your school email. So you will say student accounts since you're already registered. I'm an educator, so I'm clicking on that one, and then sign in with Google. Once you're logged in, you're going to click on Resources, and then you'll choose Learning Center. At the Learning Center, you're going to see some tutorials that start with Place It. Place it, view it, move it, and then there are more. Rotate it, size it, group it, copy it, duplicate it, hide it, align it, and that's where we will stop. So you're going to click on Place It, and it will automatically walk us through the tutorials. So I click on Start. On the left-hand side are my instructions. Welcome to TinkerCAD. We are excited to have you with us. TinkerCAD is used to build all types of creations by adding and removing shapes from the design workspace. Let's add a shape to the work plane now. So here are the instructions. See the orange shape on the work plane? There it is. That's a hint. Hints help guide you as you get started. Find the box shape in the Shapes panel to the right. That's over here. And it says left click and drag the box shape to the hint. So I take that red box and drag it to the hint. Number 5 says continue to the next step. And that was it. It was just showing me how I could drag shapes from this area on the right to that work plane. And this showed up because it is different things that I could do, different characteristics of that box. So if that's in my way, I can just click on this arrow and it goes up. Okay, I'm going to say done and project completed. That's the first lesson done. So now when I hit continue, it's automatically going to take me to the view it lesson. Continue. Okay, while creating designs, it helps to see your shapes from all sides. The view cube, that's this area, located at the top left of TinkerCAD, will help you looking around. Let's learn how you can change your view. Instructions. Just left click and drag anywhere on the view cube. So I can left click on this cube and see how I can just drag and look at it from different directions. Then it says, try clicking different areas of the view cube to rotate the design to match. So this is my front. I just click on front. That's my front view. I can click on this arrow, goes to the top view, grab it, and click on right, and so on. Continue to the next step. And I click on next. And now it says, learn to zoom. From time to time, it helps to take a closer look at your design. Practice zooming in and out. Well, first I want to show you a few other things. In the view, if I click on that house, then it goes back to what's called my home view. Okay? And if I right-click on my mouse, see how I can rotate that work plane? And zooming is simply using my scroll wheel, which it says down here. If you have a mouse with a scroll wheel, use it for zooming in and out. If you use a touchpad, you'll zoom using the gestures that you normally use in other apps, and that's like, you know, when you pinch together on your iPad, or you kind of expand out. That's for zooming in, zooming out. And you may also zoom in and out by clicking on the plus and minus buttons under the view cube. So that would be these two if you need to use those. Okay, so zoom in, out, and so on. Okay, something they did not mention, our mice have wheels, mouse wheels. So if you hold that wheel down like it was a button, then you can actually slide it back and forth. The right click rotated, but holding the mouse wheel down actually just glides it instead of rotating it. Continue to the next step. Let's look around faster. You've seen how to rotate using the view cube. This time, let's try by only using your mouse or touchpad. So press and hold the right mouse button. So that's what I just showed you. If you want to use your touchpad, you can either press Control and left, click while you drag, or simply right click and drag if you have your touchpad set up for accepting right clicks. And next step. And got the hang of it? Great. Let's keep going and say done. And there's my next lesson. Move it. Continue. This one says, let's move shapes around the work plane. Continue to the next step. So I don't do anything yet. It says, move each of the box shapes to a hint. Let's jump in. Left click and drag each box to one of the hints. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Grab this and move it to a box. And that's in my way. Remember how to get rid of it, or at least reduce its size. And number 2 is empty. That's strange, isn't it? Continue to the next. Oh, I didn't do each of the boxes though. And I'm actually going to zoom out, and I'm going to right click and then hold my mouse wheel down, and I'm going to move it this way. That would be easier for me, I think. And move it in there, and move this one in there, and move this one in there, and then click next. Okay. Next it says move height, or move box height. Now that you've mastered the basics of moving around the work plane, let's try moving a shape vertically. When you move a shape up or down, you're moving along the z-axis. So you have the x-axis would be back and forth, left to right. The y-axis is this direction, but the z-axis is actually up and down. It says select a box shape to highlight it. Click and hold the arrow icon on the top of the selected shape to lift it off the work plane. So watch this. If I click on this, see this arrow? That's how you lift it. Lift it up into that box and do it to all of them, I think, right? Yep. So I'll do this one. Oh, I have to go back. Well, here's a good opportunity to show you how I go back. Right here. Okay. Now I see my orange hint areas, so I know where to put it. And that one there, and that one there. And the important thing here is that you simply know how to do what it's trying to show you, so it didn't have to be perfect. And next, you did it. Great work. And done. Rotate it. Continue. So now I'm supposed to rotate these shapes so they fit in the hint area. It says continue to the next step. Okay, select a body by left clicking on the shape. This will enable the shape's handles. That's what these white things are. In fact, everything that shows up, these are all handles. Rotate your view to get the best view of the curved rotation. So that means, like, with my right click now, I see that this is a good view for trying to turn it this way. And let's get that out of the way. And zoom in. And right here, I can just grab that arrow and turn it 45 degrees. Okay? And now what's going to be the best view for rotating this one? I think right on top of it, right? So I need this arrow and rotate it. And what will be the best view for this last one? Will it be on top? Will it be the front? The top doesn't help. The front doesn't help. I have to be on the side of this one for the best way to rotate it into that space. Okay, my home. And next. Great work. Okay, size it up. Let's make a change to the basic box shape by sizing it up next. Select a box by left-clicking on the shape. This will enable the shape's handles. Use the black handles on the bottom edge of the shape to size the shape in a single direction, and use the white handles on the bottom corners to size in two directions at once. Okay, so we need it to fit in that orange hint area, right? So in this one, do I need to just go in one direction or in two directions? Well, it's already the right size here. I only need it longer. So I'm going to use the black ones because that one only resizes in one direction. And just for the sake of showing you, the white I can make larger in both directions. Whereas the black, if I'm only going in one direction, it allows me more control. This one, and should I use the black or the white? Am I going just in one direction or both directions? Just in one direction, right? So there, and I'll grab the black over here. And then this one has to be resized in two directions, so I'll use the white and resize out this direction. Then I can use the right mouse button and resize in this direction and hit my home button so I can see if it looks okay. Yep, looks pretty good. And next. And did it. Okay, group it. Okay, so that's how it starts. Building with basic shapes is a lot of fun, but did you know you can combine shapes to create new ones? Let's try grouping some shapes. Instructions continue to the next step. The cylinder shape on the left is set to an orange color. The cylinder on the right is set to be a hole. Let's see what happens when we group a box with each of these shapes. Let's try it now. Here are your instructions. Select the box on the left by left-clicking on the shape. So I left-click, and it's selected. And hold Shift on the keyboard and also select the orange cylinder. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to hold the Shift button on my keyboard and also select the cylinder. So now both things are selected. So how do I select more than one thing? I hold the Shift key on my keyboard and select both items. Then, with both shapes selected, click the Group button on the right side of the toolbar. So right here, if I just let my mouse over each of these tools, it will tell me what they are. And this one is Group. And there is my grouped shape. And next. Now I'm supposed to group this one. I'm going to show you another way to group. This is going to turn into a hole, like this picture. So another way to group is just left-click by the objects. If you're able to choose those objects without touching anything else, you can just drag a rectangle around them. And then they're both selected. I hit Group, and there is my hole. Okay, I'm going to do that to this and see if they turn a single color. Ah, they did. So somehow, when I used my Shift button, I didn't quite have them both. And next. And done. Next is copy it. Okay, while creating in TinkerCAD, it can be helpful to make a copy of a shape in your design. To make a copy, we can use the copy button on the top toolbar or use the hotkeys. We'll cover both options. It says drag and drop the box shape from the library. So I drag this onto this, and then it says select the shape on the work plane by clicking on it. Well, it's already selected. Use the copy icon from the top toolbar to create a copy. And hover over it, that's copy. And then this one is paste, but see how it's kind of grayed out right now. It's not a tool that's available. That's because you have to tell it what to paste first. You have to hit copy first. So I copy, now there's a paste there. Use paste icon from the top toolbar to place a copy. Paste, and there's my copy. And I'm going to move that into, oops, there's an undo right here. Sometimes what I do is I click away and then just grab it and it moves. And now I don't have to do copy and paste again. I already did copy, so I can just hit paste. and it's whatever I last copied that will be pasted. And hit paste again, and move it. And next. All right, done with that one. And duplicate it. Now this one is using the duplicate command, which is similar to the copy command. And what I'm going to do is, I'm following the instructions down here. It says, it says to hit next. That's what it says. Drag a shape. So I did. And then it says click the duplicate icon in the top toolbar. The new shape will be placed exactly on top of the reference shape. And Control D will do the same thing. So what I want to do now is I'm going to hit duplicate, and there's actually a new one right on top of the old one, but you can't tell because it's on top of it. So I want to move it, and now your question is probably, well, how is that different from copy paste? But here's how it's different. If I resize it and have it get taller, and let's even move it up in its position, okay? Duplicate remembers the changes that I made, and it will do the exact same changes in terms of ratio if I hit duplicate again. Now, of course, that time it didn't, but this time it will. I think that's because I clicked away from it. Now duplicate. Okay, so see, it made the same ratio of changes in size and space. In fact, I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to show you where this can be very beneficial. If I want a row of things, maybe I'll hit duplicate and then just move it a specific distance away, and then I hit duplicate, and now it's going to put it exactly the same distance apart. If I had made it larger, it would have made it in increments of larger shapes. So it remembers the changes and duplicates the changes with each one. And next, and next. Done. Next time we'll hide it. Continue. Okay, with this one, it says, when designing, the work plane can become cluttered with shapes. Instead of moving or deleting shapes that you need, you can easily just hide the shapes from view until you need them again. Instructions. Continue to the next step. Okay, click on the red rectangle on the work plane and try hiding it to reveal what's underneath. Right here, select the red rectangle by clicking on it. Hide the selected shape by clicking on the hide icon, the light bulb, on the shape pop-up. This light bulb, hide selected. It says unhide by using the icon on the top toolbar, so that's this one. Okay, so that shows everything. Okay, and next. Okay, hide selection with lasso tool. Another way to hide objects is to click and drag a selection around the objects you want to hide. So in our instructions, make a selection by clicking on the screen and dragging a box around the object you want to hide. So there, I'm dragging a box. I left click and see that dotted red rectangle. That's the box I'm dragging around it, and hide it. And this time it hid everything because I lassoed everything that was within that rectangular square. So that's the difference between just selecting something like that red box to hide compared to lassoing everything that's within my imaginary rectangle. Next, and done. Now align it. Okay, continue to the next step. It says, well, while building, you may need to line up shapes. Let's try aligning some shapes. So next, let's explore the different ways these boxes can be aligned. Hovering over an alignment handle will show a preview of what the alignment will look like and clicking a handle will move the shapes to a preview position. Let's try previewing the all the alignment options. They have an extra "the" in there. Okay? It says select all the box shapes by holding Shift on the keyboard and left clicking on each box. So I can do this, click there, and then hold Shift on the keyboard, click another box. Now it has 2 of them selected, and hold Shift on the keyboard and select the other one, and then I have all 3 selected. But the other way, do you remember, is to just lasso all of them, so I can click an imaginary rectangle over all of them, and I also have them all selected. And right here we have align. And this is what they were talking about. If I put my mouse on these black circles, those are align handles, it's showing me what's going to happen. This one will align the boxes to this line. This one will center them. This one makes them all go to the left. This one will make it go make all 3 come to the front. Then the middle this direction and this direction. These are height. So this would put them all in the middle in height. This would put them all to the ground or to the work plane. So I clicked on work on the bottom one, and if I click on, well, let's do which one? How about this one to the front? And then what's going to happen if I do this? They're all going to go to the center. I'll end up with 1. Okay, next. And next, done. Lesson completed. You have completed this lesson. Go back to the project page. So you are finished, and I can see your progress because you are in my class. You signed up for my class. Good job.